Hello, subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome to part 2 of what is, realistically speaking, just a mini-series. It's not gonna, at least as of right now, it's not gonna be a full-blown series, or at least I don't have plans for it to be one. But yeah, so we will kill these guys, I can guarantee you. We'll kill them eventually. Not right now. We're equivalent across the board. So, it's probably not best to try to go to war with them, especially if it has somebody big over here who's really not happy with me conquering those guys. Because hey, it could be a fallen empire for all I know, and if they're the Xenophiles, they're probably not going to be fans of me either enslaving or purging those guys, so...
System survey complete.
Yeah. Okay. Oliver, this is your last chance. If you fail, I'm firing you and replacing you with somebody else. Even though that somebody's going to start out skill level 1, I'm hopeful that they're going to be more competent than you. The asteroid T83 is emitting some form of radiation-controlled bursts. Is someone, something, trying to communicate with us? Who knows, Oliver? If you can be successful, maybe we'll find out. But knowing Oliver, he's gonna fail. I hope he disproves me, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. I am wholeheartedly expecting him to fail miserably. Which is not something that I like to be able to say. Okay. Oliver, are you gonna be successful? Oh my god, Oliver is successful! A scan of the particularly massive asteroid T83 yields fascinating results. The rock's core is shot through with a network of conductive crystals carrying a weak electric charge. The crew of the GIS Ptolemy recognized this matrix as a primitive neural lattice and believe the celestial body to be thinking in some capacity, if not fully sentient. They seek permission to excavate the core and transport it to the nearest orbital station for closer study. Make it so, or make do with what you can study from the surface.
Construction complete.
And I want to note, the game says that it's supposed to add a +8 to physics research. However, in reality, it does not add a +8. It adds a +3 to physics and a +3 to society, but that still doesn't equal 8. So you kind of get screwed over with that event, in my opinion. Okay. Oliver, you were successful with that one. I'm hopeful you'll be successful with this one as well. The surface of this asteroid is littered with metallic debris. Most of it appears to originate from starships of many different designs. Really? I don't see any. Of course not. It's no point. Okay. Oliver, you're going to research this one, and I hope you're successful, because again, if you're not, I'm firing you and replacing with somebody of lesser skill who will hopefully be more competent at finishing anomalies successfully. There we go. Now we're bringing in quite a bit of food. Also, I don't know. Later, actually. We'll do that later. There, now you have a job, or you will once the building's built. Actually, switch you guys. And you... Oh, I'll have you build a physics lab there. Screw it. Probably not actually the most useful building to go there, but whatever. The tile itself produces physics research. But even if I gave it a biolab, it's still only going to produce 2 physics, but it'll then produce 3 society. But I'd be limited to upgrading it to better and better biolabs. So I figured I'll build a science or a physics lab there and just get more and more physics, especially since physics gives me energy weapons, while engineering will give me kinetic and missile weapons. Torpedoes are particularly useful, but physics also has its own special torpedoes later. And society doesn't really give you any weapons at all, which is not too surprising. It is called society for a reason. And someday this planet will actually... Damn it, Oliver! The entire crew of the GIS Ptolemy spent days arduously shifting through the debris on the surface of LR9426 in rotating shifts. Science Officer Oliver Gerard reports that nothing of value was found. Unfortunate. Oliver? Is there anybody decent to replace you with? Not really. Then Oliver, you're lucky. You get to stay in charge for right now. But if somebody becomes better than you, they're replacing you. How about you research this one? An ancient orbital shipyard drifts in silence above this world. It has suffered serious battle damage, and entire sections of the facility are missing. Right over around this planet here. Oliver, please be successful with this one, because I think this one gives you ships. I think that's the ancient shipyard one. Yes, it is. So if he's successful, I'll get a special project, tell him to research that, which will give me some ships, either 3 raiders, which are essentially Corvette class ships, or 1 frigate, which is essentially a destroyer class ship. Let's try to remember which way it goes, but yeah, it's Corvette, destroyer, cruisers, battleships. There's actually not a whole lot of good planets in this area. In fact, First Fleet, head over there. Because I need some more worlds to colonize. There's
Situation log updated.
Zeta aliens. Oh, okay, we got another race up here. Okay, guess we're not going there. Head over there. Oh, I get the feeling this is probably going to be an advanced start AI. Oliver, you get to keep your job for a little bit longer. While conducting their survey of Verbalius 6, the GIS Ptolemy detected the remains of an automated shipyard in orbit. It is at least 1,000 years old and seems to have been subjected to a heavy missile barrage, but one of its malfunctioning bays is still in working condition. Science Officer Oliver Gerard is confident that power can be restored to the shipyard, but it would be a significant project.
Situation log updated.
And you will restore power to it, because you will get me some ships. And these guys, okay, they've got a Gaia world. I'm not exactly happy with that. Lucky for them, it's not a holy world. Because if it was, then they'd probably piss off the fallen empire that may or may not exist, that is, for all intents and purposes, going to want to murder them for having colonized the world. But said fallen empire may not be in this area, and thus they may not give a crap.
Research complete.
Okay, better power. I'm gonna get some shields. You guys are still considered equivalent across the board with me, which I'm not fond of. Also, you guys need to grow faster. And I could speed it up slightly if I don't have the edict, but there's an edict called farming subsidies that increases food production by like 25%. But I don't know if it actually increases by an actual 25% properly. This game is a little funky. Some things are increased additively, other things are done multiplicatively. So, like, I think in this case it's plus 25%, not times 25%. So it's a little funky. There's no other good tiles really to build. Oh, well, wait, actually, let's see. I might have a governor that increases food. Yes, I do. Konrad Heinz von Musel. Sure, Konrad. You can be in charge, and food updates at the end of the month. Yeah, they're still technically...
Special project complete.
Thank you, Oliver. Science Officer Oliver Gerard has successfully restored power to the automated shipyard over Verbalius 6. The facility immediately resumed its interrupted construction order using what materials it had on hand to build 3 advanced raiders of an unknown design. Unfortunately, the ancient facility broke down completely afterwards and has been deemed beyond repair. We have sent crews to the new ships and commissioned them into our fleet. Excellent. So, we got 3 raiders, R-44s, equipped with small X-ray lasers and medium disruptors with small antimatter reactors, small shields, and some small nanocomposite armor. Those cannot be upgraded, so they are stuck with whatever equipment they currently have.
Construction
But it is
complete.
still technology of some kind. Oh, and we met these guys, the Lachaks. We have received a transmission from the Lachaks. They appear to have successfully translated our language. Diplomatic channels are now open, and all hostilities between us have ceased for the moment. Interesting. Greetings, I speak for Executive Gabad Uv Avrin, or Averfin, whatever, and the wealthy elite of the Lachaks Confederacy. We are always looking for new trading partners, and hopefully we can come to some sort of accommodation that will benefit the commerce of both our nations. I'll be nice to you guys for now. We greet you as one, Lachaks. You guys are honor-bound warriors, of course. And these guys appear to be an advanced AI start. Somewhat obvious because, one, they have 3 planets, like 11 years into the game, not normal. And also their techno level is listed as superior. So there's this little thing I want to do called establish an embassy. I don't really need them killing me. Oh, and they don't like the border friction. They don't like that I allow slavery. They don't like that I allow purges. They also consider me to be a collectivist tyrant. I don't consider myself a tyrant, but they consider me a tyrant. But this, of course, means that I am not allowed to go anywhere else, and thus one of these 2 nations has to die. I think I already know which one I'd prefer to kill. And that would be the Haddam Nation. Because, well, they're one planet. And they're equivalent across the board with me. However, getting into a fight with the Lachaks Confederacy could also prove beneficial, because they have superior tech than me. Which means I could potentially get some fairly nice technology. Of course, it also depends on where their tech is. It's mostly physics, so they probably have some better lasers than me, and they probably have some better physics labs than me. But the only tech I'd be able to get is maybe those better lasers and maybe shields. But they are guaranteed to say no because of the unfriendly attitude. They would accept me giving them one. I'm going to give them a non-aggression pledge. However, I cannot demand that they give me one in exchange as well, simply because, well, they are unfriendly towards me. So we'll have to wait a little bit. We are fairly close to what I think is I think the threshold period for an empire to declare war on you is minus 75 opinion, and for them to actually think they can win the war. So I definitely need to keep that embassy there. But the Haddam Nation over here, they're probably going to be the guys getting murdered, because I've got nowhere to go now. The one problem with hyperlanes, you can easily get blocked in. So one of them has to die. And I know which one it's going to be, simply because I know which one I can actually fight. Also, I don't know what these guys use. They probably use warp. Or I didn't see any wormholes, so they either use warp. They either use warp or hyperdrives. I'm somewhat hopeful it's hyperdrives, because then I can predict where they're going to come in from, because they're limited to following the same routes that I am. These guys, I think, actually used... obviously, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they were probably using warp. But it could be hyperdrives as well, which again would be beneficial, especially since there's only one system that they'd be able to enter from, which is right here. And I could, theoretically, if they use hyperdrives, camp my fleet in here and put it somewhere along the side here, and then go ahead and attack them as soon as they warp into the system. I do need better ships, though, or at least more of them, before I can actually do something like that. So, since I have nowhere else to really go, Don't build a research station there. I'm probably gonna colonize that to extend my border out to over here. And actually, this is one situation where I kind of wish I had researched defense platforms, because then I could use the subspace snare to force them to drop in on one spot where my fleet's going to be sitting there waiting for them, and then I proceed to crush their entire fleet and then walk into their system. Again, though, that relies on them using hyperdrives, or if they use warp, being forced to go there because their warp drives don't go far enough to either other system.
Construction complete.
Oh yes, let's upgrade the power plants, and you biolab, and build a basic power or basic science lab over there. Over here, I would, if I had the resources, build a mineral processing plant, more than likely. And then, well, actually, I don't know, because I could build a mineral processing plant there or there, and that would generate resources as well, while also increasing by, I think the first one is 5%, then I think it upgrades to 10%. We'll have to see. But now I have nowhere else to go. I'm essentially, for all intents and purposes, kind of screwed in my expansion now. So, war will be coming to one of these guys. Probably the Hadam Nation, as I mentioned, because they're the ones I can beat the crap out of easily. And again, they're only one planet. Hell, I could go to war with them right now and I wouldn't have any real issues. But I don't want to go to war with them, at least until I feel as though I'm in a good enough position. And they do like me now. They're an enlightened monarchy. But it's still a hell no to any attempts to actually create, yeah, it's still straight up no. Actually, would you guys give me a research agreement? No, because you only trade that with allies. And obviously I don't want to give you a non-aggression pledge, although you would accept one. Because I do plan to go to war with you. I prefer to get my non-aggression pledge with these guys over here, but they're unfriendly, and unless I can get them to cordial attitude, they're unlikely to do anything that I want. I need to at least get them to neutral, I think, to be able to get the star charts from them, which will allow me to know what's going up in that area, and potentially if there's any other empires up there. I won't automatically meet those empires, but at least if there is one up there that these guys know about, they'll tell me that, oh yeah, that planet's owned by some unknown species. Or at least as far as we're concerned, it'll be an unknown species. But these guys could have met that empire already. But I won't be starting out with the knowledge that of who they are. I'll only know that they exist. Now, this is a situation where I wouldn't mind researching destroyers, because I have to go to war no matter what, and having destroyers could be beneficial. But I've got crap weapons, generally speaking. I've got red lasers and nuclear missiles, the starting nuclear missiles. So, no matter what I do, it's kind of gonna be a crappy destroyer, but it is a destroyer nonetheless, so it could be beneficial. But I could get geothermal fracking, which will give me more minerals, both in production but also a higher cap. Though I've never approached my cap right now, so it's kind of irrelevant. I could research robots, but no real point in using them for the most part for me right now. And I could get armor, which would be beneficial, because then my ships can take a little bit more of a beating. Especially since as it stands right now, if I go to war with somebody, chances are they're still going to be using corvettes like me. So being able to have my ships take a bit more of a beating could be beneficial. So I'm going to go with armor. I've also got deflectors being researched, so this means we'll also get some shields going up on our ships as well.
Research complete.
And there we go. Fusion power. Don't even care about the other choices. Fusion power is very useful to me. So, 2 deflectors on the Lubex. upgrade them. And our Corvettes are actually only about half the power of our raiders here. And the Lechak Confederacy here has declared some unidentified empire, probably right in this area. In fact, probably more specifically in that region, I want to say, as their rival. Now, of course, significantly worse in their diplomatic relations. Of course, this can be one thing. If I could meet that empire, I could attempt to make an alliance with them by declaring the Lechak Confederacy as my rival. This will mean that their rival has a rival of their own, and thus I might be able to manage an alliance if I'm lucky. Especially since those guys are probably going to be likely to rival the Lechak Confederacy back. Because it's still early game, and thus they probably don't know many
Ships
people.
upgraded. Construction complete. Research complete.
A little bit more firepower there. Tile blockers no matter what, so which one is going to be the most useful? I'm going to say we've got 3 and 3 of the dense jungles and the toxic kelp. But the toxic kelp will give me another plot for a hydroponics farm. But I'd also, with the dense jungle, get some additional minerals. Both of which are useful, both take the same amount of time. I think I'm going to go with the toxic kelp. That way I can get another hydroponics farm built, so I can get this place growing a little bit faster. Because I need at least 5 to upgrade the reassembled ship shelter into a planetary administration. Oh, now these guys have 2 planets. And yeah. So because I have an embassy with them, I can't declare them as a rival, which is fine, because I don't want them as a rival officially, as far as the game is concerned, just yet. I'm gonna go and build a mining station up there. Tell Odin to build us a couple more Corvettes. And we're gonna probably save up to try and get Horizon to have a spaceport of its own, which is gonna cost us 288 minerals. We're gonna be a while.
Construction complete.
And actually build the research station as well. Of course, also if I'm lucky, these guys will end up in a war with their rival fairly soon, and I'd be able to potentially swoop in and try and nab a couple planets, namely this Gaia world here. Oh, and we met somebody new. I'm going to assume that's the person that the Lechak rivaled. I speak on behalf of the Usanant's hegemony, and I come with a message for your depraved species. As long as you stay out of our internal affairs and treat our great leader, Emperor Gablal I, with reverence, there may yet be peace between our nations. Respect our authority or else. So they're a despotic empire like us. They are hegemonic imperialists. And they are fanatic collectivists and xenophobes. And they like... won't tell me, but I think those are tropical or ocean. Actually, tropical. You can tell from looking out there. And yes, those are the guys that were rivaled by the Lechak Confederacy. So, establish an embassy with you, try and get you on my good side. You're equivalent across the board with me, but so are the Lechak now. Which means I could potentially actually win.
Complete.
Okay, got some armor. Sweet. Get the defense platform that we'll probably actually not end up using, but we'll research it anyway. I could get plasma throwers, which would be quite useful, but let's get active countermeasures in case the enemy has missiles. And tell the game to auto-design the Lubex to be better. Which I don't think they actually improved too much. They got some additional armor, that's about it. Actually, yeah, that is like literally all that changes. They got some armor now. But nonetheless, that's something. Go ahead and upgrade. And now they cost a little bit more because now they have the armor that has to be paid for. These guys are no longer considered technologically superior
Ships
to me.
upgraded.
So that's definitely beneficial. Once we get to, I want to say about 500 or so military power, we'll send the first fleet
Construction complete.
down to this system to beat the crap out of the whatchamacallums down there. The amoebas. Go ahead and clear that so you can build a better farm. You could always use better farms. Some of you guys are starting to diverge in terms of your ethics. You are no longer collectivists.
Complete.
And you might be wondering why I want to build hydroponics farms. The more food you produce, the faster they grow. So this planet produces 4. These guys are growing at 1.3 per month. The homeworld only produces 1 food surplus right now, so this guy only grows at +1 per month. Also, because of that, I'm going to want to build a hydroponics farm here. Otherwise, oh, actually no, I can clear that and build a hydroponics farm there.
Construction complete.
Okay, wonderful. You have that built.
Construction complete.
Hydroponics farm there, if you don't mind. Yes, game, I know that building is
Research
not in
complete.
use. And let's get the space combat doctrine to increase our naval capacity by 10%, which won't really be much. It'll be maybe 1 or 2 ships if I'm lucky, but it is more ships nonetheless, which means it could be beneficial.
Research
Also,
complete.
build another Corvette. Got the defense platform. Get the... How do I want to get the better thrusters? They do increase evasion, which could be useful. But I could also get mass drivers, which... Well, they inherently have a little bit more average damage, but they also have less accuracy. And I think less range as well in comparison to lasers. Let's go with the ion thrusters. And again, you guys can probably hear my dog snoring in the background.
Construction complete. Construction complete.
Okay, once this... Build 1 more Corvette. That'll put us at over 400. Not a whole lot over 400, but it'll hopefully be enough to be able to beat the crap out of the amoebas down there. And hey, we don't gotta kill all the amoebas. We can go down there, kill 1, emergency
complete.
FTL out of there, repair the ships, rebuild any losses, and then head down and finish them off again. We're also now sitting at our cap, and thus we can go ahead down there and beat the crap out of them. They're at 452. I want you to actually investigate. These guys are what? The alphas? I want you to investigate them before we kill them, real quick. In fact, actually, to save some money, head back to the homeworld
Research
and
complete.
enter an orbit around the planet. Let's go ahead and get the blue lasers to replace our crappy little red lasers. That'll increase our fire or military power a little bit more. That is still considered outside of our empire, only barely. That's where the actual system is, this little pentagon or hexagon or whichever one it is there. As far as I'm concerned, it is within my empire's borders, but technically
Special
speaking, in
project
reality.
complete.
In this case, I could go ahead and tell my fleets to beat the crap out of them, but I don't get the quick little bonus that I would like to get, which is an increase to evasion, so... The entities encountered by our fleet some time ago are space-borne forms of life. Quickly named Space Amoeba, followed by a tactician's gross misreading of initial sensor output, the creature is in fact larger than the average Imperial corvette. The creature displays aggressive behavior towards Imperial ships, but further study is warranted. For example, we could exercise our martial prowess by swiftly executing this specimen and studying its remains, which we're still going to do, but we're going to be nice enough and get one quick thing first. Issue a special project for remote space amoeba study.
Situation log updated.
This way we can get some increased evasion skill added to all our ships. I think it's only 5%, but 5% can mean a whole lot in a fight, especially since corvettes, stands right now, are considered overpowered because their evasion increases quite a bit, or they have, generally speaking, the best evasion skill no matter what. The space amoeba, as the name has stuck, as the pronunciation of the proper xenotaxonomic denominator is too unwieldy for the average Imperial, are solitary animals. When left to their own devices, all but the youngest specimens are accomplished by quasi-independent flagella, organisms spawned by the amoeba and programmed through liquid, RNA-laced secretions to do the bidding of the host. These flagella are capable of manipulating and even attacking objects in an impressive yet restricted range around the host, periodically returning to lodge inside the host amoeba's body for reprogramming. There are potential military applications of the graceful patterns of circulation apparent in the flagella's movements. Fascinating idea. So we permanently have a plus 5% to evasion. Build one more corvette since we now have the naval capacity to do so. I'm not sure what put us up there, but something did. Oh, pops increase it, so somebody grew up.
Construction complete.
Yep, somebody grew up.
Research complete.
You guys are at 5, so if I can get the... Okay, that's like 2 months. Go ahead and research the Betharian power plant. And let's get the monthly influence. Let's build one more corvette. Now it's going to be more like 6 months, but Horizon will be upgraded to replace this reassembled ship shelter with an actual planetary administration. We are at 478 military power on the First Fleet, led by Admiral Salvador Vasquez, who is now going to proceed to beat the crap out of some amoebas. I could have slapped some point defense on there, but there's really no need. As our corvettes and the raiders move in to beat the crap out of space amoebas, let's watch. Got nothing else really to do right now. We're gonna lose a couple ships, that's guaranteed. And don't worry, we actually had 16. It's just that it doesn't actually show you an icon for raiders and frigates. I got no idea why.
Situation log updated.
Okay, you guys head back to the home world. Repair. Rebuild the lost ships. Upgrade that to a planetary administration. That'll allow me to upgrade the basic hydroponics farms to actual normal hydroponics farms. And if I had actually built basic mines and basic power plants, those could also be upgraded to their normal variants. Get the game back up in speed because there's no particularly need now for me to keep it on normal, as we just kind of power through some of the slower moments here at the beginning as we slowly expand our empire. First fleet is repaired, wonderful, but they do have losses that have to be rebuilt. Also, once you are done there, survey that system.
Debris analyzed.
So, we got the amoeba breeding program, which allow us to, if we finish researching it, to attach amoeba flagella to our hangar slots for ships. However, we've gotten a real need for that right now because the only ships that can have hangar slots are defense stations, defense platforms, and fortresses, and battleships and cruisers. But we don't have any of that stuff except for the defense platforms, so we can ignore it for now. Regenerative hull tissue, on the other hand, is also kind of worthless to me, at least in my opinion. But all of our ships could use that, and we got some society research to speed up our stuff here. But yeah, so nothing particularly wonderful. This is our defense platform that's Charon originally. Also, does the game recommend anything different? If stupid game, don't recommend hangar stuff. There's crap right now. In fact, I'll show you just how crappy they are. This thing has a range of 8. Range of 15 for small red lasers. Range of 26 for small nuclear missiles. Why in the hell would you use a scout wing? In fact, why in the hell would you use any strike craft? As it stands right now, they are worthless. So, yeah. They don't do anything, because you have to be within... The enemy ship has to be within a range of 8 to be worthwhile. Though granted, this thing has a subspace snare, which means any incoming hostile fleets will be redirected onto this station upon exiting, so... I mean, technically this station could get usefulness out of these things, but for the most part, you don't get any real usefulness. Also, I'd much rather you guys have, I want to say, 2 light stations. Oh, wow, I was actually not expecting that to be enough, but it was wonderful, so... That's what our defense platform looks like. We probably will never build one. But hey, at least we have one. On the off chance that we do ever build one.
Anomaly found.
I'll leave it be for now. I don't trust you. Aha! These guys are technologically inferior to us. And so the game says, you could beat the crap out of them. Sure, after we rebuild our lost ships, maybe. Until we rebuild our lost ships, I'd rather not risk it.
Research complete.
Aha, you guys are only wary of me now. Aha, you would. You would require that I give you some other stuff, so how about some energy credits? Because those are actually fairly worthless in my opinion. You appear to want a lot. You want a hell of a lot of energy. Okay, screw you. Let's go ahead and get... That's going to take... Both of these are going to take forever to research. Let's get the atmospheric filtering to increase the habitability, which will increase the max happiness of our colonies, in this case only Horizon. And increased happiness means more productive workers. So having a higher max means that your workers become generally more useful. Okay, we've got about a month and a half or so for that to be finished. We could build
Construction
a station
complete.
down there. Of course, the game's telling me I'd have to build a frontier outpost because that's outside my range, and my range is unlikely to, at least in this case, increase far enough. And there's no colonizable planets here, so I can't colonize a planet here to take over this area. Of course, with some research, my border will expand to hit that area, but at least as it stands right now, it won't. And Oliver, you leveled up!
System survey complete.
Maybe now I can trust you with a level 2 anomaly more often. Signs of battle. A large amount of ship debris can be found in orbit around the moon, possibly the remnants of some kind of massive fleet action. Well then, how about you research it, Oliver, and I hope you succeed. Because I'm sure by now I have somebody who could replace you. Okay, we're going to have the blue lasers in just a moment. So we'll hold off on building any new
Research
ships
complete.
until we get the blue lasers. Okay, I could get better shields, which would require me to remove the... Yeah, that would require me to remove the armor on the ships. Because I do not have the space or the energy to spare to slap better shields on there. So let's go with a solar panel module for our stations. So our one station, so that it can generate some of its own energy credits. Oh yes, and of course means upgrade. Yeah, we also don't have the energy to really spare to do this. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, that's still too much. That's still too much. What the hell? Okay, that's a little bit better, I guess. Go ahead and upgrade the Corvettes. Aha! You succeeded! There is clear evidence that a massive space battle took place in close orbit of Taurak 1A at some point in the last 5,000 years. The surface on one side of the moon is pockmarked with craters from stray weapon blasts, and scans from the GIS Ptolemy have picked up several hulks on the ground. Though these wrecked ships are all in very poor condition, the fact that anything remains at all after the damage they must have sustained is a testament to their advanced design. Science Officer Oliver Gerard is preparing an expedition to sift through these derelict hulls for any valuable technologies.
Situation log
Interesting.
updated.
Please get some interesting tech. I'm going to assume it's probably going to be better armor. Or like a flat increase to armor for all ships. Probably 10% or 5%. I'm thinking 5% is a little bit more likely, knowing this game. Ah, yes. And... No. Mining network.
Ships upgraded.
Okay, ships upgraded.
Special project complete.
Oliver succeeded in the special project. The team under Science Officer Oliver Gerard has finished their expedition on Taurak 1A and returned to the GIS Ptolemy. Sadly, the wrecked starships on the surface were too badly damaged to recover any useful technology. These vessels were clearly very advanced, however, we could gain valuable engineering insights if we analyzed the way they were designed. We should consider the destruction of a permanent science outpost in orbit. Interesting. Okay. Basically the game saying, you should definitely build an outpost over here. So, fine game, I'll build a frontier outpost if I had the minerals. I'll have the minerals after I finished upgrading all my
construction complete.
Building up my ships, thank you very much. You guys are okay, now your fleet power is inferior, but your tech level is equivalent again. Damn it. Close, but not quite. Comet sighted. A fierce plume of fire spears the heavens of Odin as a comet skirts the upper atmosphere. The sheer power evident in its cosmic trajectory has made a profound impression on the capital's populace. They liken the intractability of its path to the inevitability of the Galactic Imperium's ascension to galactic supremacy. To victory, which means for the next 12 months, the planet Odin, our capital, has a plus 15% happiness, which means, again, more productive workers. And productive workers are the best workers.
Research complete.
Let's see. Did we get any? No, we did not find... Damn you, game! We didn't find any Batarium in our systems. So, we're a little out of luck in that regard. I could get autocannons, but I'm going to go with the geothermal fracking for better mineral gathering. And construction ship here, thank you very much. Science ship, there's really nothing you can do, so just go ahead and enter an orbit around Odin for now. Let's go ahead and upgrade these all. It's actually reverse these so you get some actual minerals gathered.
Research complete.
Okay, we got that. And okay, so we can have plasma throwers, which again we can't necessarily afford right now. But of course, if we research cold fusion power, we would be able to afford to slap those on our ships. We're probably going to go with cold fusion power, so that we can actually afford these upgrades. Let's also go ahead and actually research the beta aliens. I don't remember what the delta aliens were. I'm going to assume those are probably the space whales, so let's go ahead and research that as well. That's going to start throwing up some society research, as Ursula Schulz is busy.
Special project complete.
Let's see. Reports of deep space drones and certain systems have been investigated. The drones appear to be the workers and custodians of an autonomous orbital mining operation established millennia ago, and then soon abandoned by all but the drones themselves. Judging by the state of the processing equipment, the drones possess powerful mining lasers and make obviously threatening, if not outright hostile, overtures toward Imperial vessels when approached. They may only be old drones, but they should be kept under close watch by the Galactisches Imperium. Okay, we can do, let's see what they're made of, take them apart. Or we can establish a listening post on Odin, which will give us the mining drone observation special project, which will lead to us being able to learn about some mineral-rich systems. Though, of course, knowing my luck, they're all going to be on the other side of the galaxy, stuck within the middle of a fallen empire's territory. I'm calling it now. But we'll establish a listening post, in the hopes that it leads to something beneficial to us.
Special project complete.
And yes, the spaceborne life forms with the Imperial head of society research has come to refer to as Tianki are docile creatures capable of accessing some lower dimension of subspace. They roam from system to system with relative ease, though nearly the same ease as Imperial fleets. They graze on gases common in the upper layers of gas giants. It is highly unlikely, to say the least, that this is their only food source, but intake of other nutrients has yet to be observed. They will rarely, if ever, attack. Even when provoked, they can safely be ignored. aka the game saying they're not a threat. Oh, I don't have the resources just yet.
Special project complete.
The drones in their tireless, endless work of extracting ever-diminishing resources from their local planetoids make for a somewhat dull, but nevertheless informative subject of study. In fact, mining networks on Odin could stand to learn a thing or two about maximizing mineral extraction rates while conserving energy. Additionally, we have found that the drones are not completely silent. They emit signal pings though extremely infrequently, and at a wavelength hard to isolate from background noise. If there is anyone left to receive these pings, may be a mystery for another time.
Situation log updated.
So if I go ahead and track this, one's in the intergalactic spiral, one's over there, one's within the system of these guys, we got some over there. Okay, 3 of them are very easily accessible and I would likely control within, I'd say the next 100 years max, depending on how my wars go. These 2 over here, yeah, they're going to take a little bit longer, especially this one. Actually, this one wouldn't take that long, because defeat the Lechak's Confederacy, Now I'd be able to pretty much make a straight run to it. But of course it'd be a bad idea, because, well, one, I use hyperlane, so if I went to war with anybody in between, they have free reign over a pretty much completely undefended system. But, yeah, generally speaking, I could, in theory, do that.
Construction complete.
Also, anything? Nope, okay.
Research complete.
Aha, now your technology is inferior again. I think in the next part I'll be going to war with them. Let's go ahead and start researching destroyers. Oh, yeah, go ahead and research destroyers. In fact, actually this episode's probably been going for about 30 minutes or so, hell, probably even longer. So that's going to be it for this episode. As always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you guys next time. But until then, goodbye and farewell.